Welcome to Hello Weight Loss. I am Diane O'Brown. I am your weight loss coach. I am your friend, and I'm here to help you become your healthiest, sexiest self. Now, in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to stop the urge to eat junk food.
Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this.
Now, I have some awesome news for you. Yes, you. So we are about to end November, and I want us to end with a bang. I want you to enter December having lost some weight, feeling amazing, with more energy, and we're gonna do that with my fruit fast challenge, and it's free. It is a 14-day challenge where we only eat fruits for breakfast. We did this last year, and so many of the women who are part of the group got such awesome results. They felt better, they looked better, they were less bloated, and now this year I'm doing it again, and you can be a part of it. All you have to do is click the link right down here somewhere to join my Fruit Fast group. We start Monday the 22nd of November. You don't want to miss it. So let's talk about urges. Now, the urge to eat junk food can be very inconvenient when you're on a weight loss journey. It can feel like this very uncomfortable impulse or urge to scratch. It's like you have an itch and you have to scratch it. That's what an urge feels like. It's like an emergency in your body. Like you need something. You have to have the thing, whether it is the ice cream or the donuts or Chinese food, whatever it is. When you get that urge, it feels like you need to take action immediately. In one of my earlier videos, I actually broke down why we have urges and how different foods in our diet can actually contribute to us having even more urges because of some addictive properties that they can have, like flour and sugar. But in today's video, we're gonna really look at an urge. What makes up an urge and how can we eliminate it sometimes before we even have them. Alright, so let's break down what makes up an urge. I think when we're able to simplify things and really look at them in their smallest parts, they become less scary, easier to understand, and easier to handle. So, an urge. An urge is made up of 5 main parts. We have the trigger, a thought, a desire, the action, and then the reward. So let's look at all of these 5 elements of an urge and break them down so we can understand them clearly. So the first part is a trigger. Something happens. You see something, you hear something, maybe you have an extremely long day, maybe you're walking in the supermarket and you pass the aisle with your favorite ice cream and it triggers you. Maybe you're driving home and you smell the KFC and it triggers you. That's a trigger, something that initiates a thought, right? So now we're at the thought stage. You think a thought. So when you smell the KFC, you think, oh my God, I haven't had KFC in so long. Or maybe you had a really stressful day at work and you're thinking, I deserve something nice. I worked really hard. So then that thought, from whatever that trigger was, rolls over into this burning desire to have something. Now, it is important to note that our desires are not for the thing itself. Like when you have a burning desire, which is actually the feeling of urge, when you have that desire, it's not because you really want a donut. What you want is how that donut is gonna make you feel. The relief from the stress that you think the donut is gonna bring you, the delight, the happiness, the feeling of joy if you're lonely. That's what we really want as humans. We don't want the thing. We don't want the car. We want the accolades and the validation and how great we're gonna feel when we get the thing. It's not even the actual junk food. It's how we think the food is gonna make us feel. All right, so we had the trigger, we had the thought, we had the desire. Next is the action. So from that point of desire of, I really want or need this thing, then we take action. So we go to the place, we join the line, we buy the food and we eat it. And then we get the reward. but that usually only lasts after the first bite. You ever notice that? When you really want some, after you have the first bite or the first 3 bites, after that it's just it's not that good anymore, because that first bite gave you that feeling of joy or relief that you wanted. But some of us continue eating way past the first bite because we can't seem to stop ourselves, because we think another thought: I deserve this. This is great. Oh my God. And we keep eating and eating and eating. All right, so what's the solution? Now that we understand urges and where they're coming from and how they're made up, how do we stop the urge to eat junk food? All right, the first thing that we can do is look at our triggers. Think about some of the things that trigger you. Just think about it. What are some of the things that make you feel like eating? Is it when you're stressed, when you've had a really long day and you come home? What are some of your triggers? Is it when you go to the supermarket hungry and you see something on the shelf? Think about those triggers. And the first step to solving for that urge is to eliminate your triggers. So if you know you're triggered by driving by and smelling the KFC, maybe you need to take a different route so that you won't be triggered, then you won't have a thought, then you won't have the desire. Do you see where I'm going here? So we're gonna cut the urge before it even begins. The second thing that we can do in order to stop the urge for junk food is reducing the desire. When we reduce our desire, we reduce the motivation to act. If we don't really want it that badly, then we won't need to go out of our way to get it, right? So how do we reduce the desire? One simple way of doing that is to wait it out. I said earlier that an urge can feel like this emergency, this siren in your brain that's telling you, go eat something, you might die. Like you need ice cream right now, Diane. Girl, you need a scoop of ice cream by any means necessary, right? What you want to do is slow your brain down. Take a pause. Breathe. Think about it. Actually think about the breakdown. What triggered me to want this thing? What thought am I thinking that's making me want this thing so badly? Write it out. What's going on in my head? What are my thoughts? Another thing that you can do to reduce the desire is to distract yourself. You might notice that when you're at work and you're really busy, or you're with the kids, you don't really notice any urges, or you don't have any because you're so busy. You're distracting yourself. So distracting yourself by working or calling a friend is another great way to kind of reduce that desire for the thing. So the third thing that we can do in order to stop having the urge to eat unhealthy food or junk food is to make the action more difficult. Here's the thing. The more difficult the action of getting to whatever your urge is, the less likely that you will actually do it. So think about it this way. Say you wake up in the middle of the night, 12 a.m. and you want KFC. And the closest KFC is Montego Bay. And you live in Kingston. There's less of a chance of you taking that action and going to Montego Bay. So think about your own life. How can you make taking the action of getting the thing that you know you will want or you tend to have an urge for harder? So again, back to being preventative. Not having the thing in the house, making it harder for you to go get that thing. This is where you have to really start to understand yourself and what your urges are and how you're triggered, and then find a way to kind of protect yourself. Because remember, you have goals, right? There's a certain way that you want to look and feel, and if we're consistently getting up late in the night and overeating these junk foods, then we're not going to be getting to our goals. Alright, so the fourth thing to help us stop the urge to eat junk food is to make the reward less satisfying. Now, here's where we're gonna have to start taking a look at our diet as it exists. And if we are having a lot of flour and sugar and those types of really sweet, refined foods in our diet, we are going to really want to eat that type of food because our body is used to that quick adrenaline hit, that dopamine from the sugar and the flour and the excitement. Your body is really prone to that. It's addicted. If the unhealthy foods you tend to have an urge to eat are flour and sugar, then slowly cutting out flour and sugar from your diet will help you to crave flour and sugar less. So if you really want to reduce the reward and make eating that food less rewarding, then you won't have such a desire to eat it. Then you have to start by cutting that food from your diet slowly but surely. Another way to make that reward of food less rewarding is to find another reward to replace it. So for some of us, food is the biggest joy in our lives, and that's a problem because there's so much other things, there's so many other things in the world that we can enjoy. So finding something else, for example, if you have a really long stressful day at work and that triggers you to want to come home and eat Oreos, what else can you do? Maybe just going to bed. Make that your reward instead of the Oreo. So figuring out what you can replace, because remember that the thing that we want is not the Oreo, it's not the donut, it's how we think the Oreo or the donut will make us feel, that relief from stress. What other things outside of the food can I use to get that same feeling? You know, it sounds very simple, but this works. A lot of weight loss happens in the mind. It's not all the fancy diets and all the fancy things that you see on Google. It's really just sitting down and listening to your thoughts and analyzing them and being aware of some of your urges and triggers, and then taking actions to protect yourself or to prevent overeating or to prevent urges. I hope you found this helpful. I absolutely love spending Thursdays with you, and I want to say thank you so much for subscribing, for being here. I feel like I said thank you enough, but I honestly really appreciate it because you don't have to take the time to watch this video, and you do. You're giving this information to yourself, you're taking this information and you're using it to make yourself better, and that's amazing. You are amazing. Now, because you're amazing, I really would love to have you in my Fruit Fast challenge. It is a 14-day challenge. It is completely free, and I want you to be there because you have been watching these videos and you need to be a part of this Fruit Fast. It is going to help you to be less bloated, have more energy, to think better, to feel better, and you're probably gonna lose some weight, right? So it is a 14-day challenge. We start on Monday, November 22nd. If you're interested, again, it's free. Click the link below to join up. There's gonna be a WhatsApp group for support, and I actually have some prizes and surprises as well. So I hope to see you there. Until my next video, like, subscribe, share this with a friend that you think might need to hear it, and I will see you real soon. Have an amazing day. Bye. Keep it cute, keep it cute, keep it, keep it, keep it, keep it cute, keep it cute, keep it, keep it, keep it, keep it, keep it, keep it, keep it,